Hi, Alex. I think we're live. Let's check the audience. I think I can turn on your audio. Hi, dude.
Hey Robert,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today, man?
I am not too bad. I think we're live. Yeah, it seems like the audio is coming through to us, so that's good. How was conference for you?
It
And we're
was pretty
getting
good.
confirmation from Yabai, which I'm guessing is not your real name. Audio is good, so that's good. And 7 people are watching now, so that's pretty fun as well. So yeah, how was conference?
It was pretty good. I went to my grandparents' house for a few sessions, so that was nice.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Sarah Ellen might pop on, and we might get a few others popping on. I'm not sure.
Will Travis be joining us?
Unfortunately, no. He's talking to some young men in his ward about how to prepare to serve a mission. So,
Oh,
unfortunate. But yeah, well, let's kind of get the most important thing that happened today over and done with in terms of discussion. Scotland's getting a temple. Um, so I did promise if either Ireland or Scotland got a temple, I will eat my hat. So I have my hat here. So if someone wants to come to the BH Roberts office and bring down some salt, I will. But I think this is great news. First of all, it's not England, so, and they're not getting an epoxy for temple. But also Scotland, it's the Ireland Scotland mission. So I think this is as close as we'll get to a temple in Ireland in the foreseeable future. But it's great news. So yeah,
yeah.
it's not
Always good news.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be joining that later. Lol. Drew, happy Sunday, guys. Yeah, and happy Sunday to you too. So, any favorite talks or any favorite moments apart from the temple in Scotland? Many have.
Um, yeah, I had a few. Saturday, I guess the Saturday evening session, I'm sure you remember the talk from the member of the 70 who he was talking about how their car rolled over. My mom actually was with him because he used to be the bishop of my great aunt and uncle's ward, and my mom was actually at that activity. She said they were at like a scout camp in eastern Idaho, and she said it rained literally all night the night before. So she said the road going out was real slippery. That's why the car got wrecked. And yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. My mom told me about that, and I just was like, huh, that's just I just thought that was really interesting that that happened. So
Cool.
it's
And
like I really liked that one, and then the other another one I really liked was I really liked President Eyring, excuse me. I liked his talk as well on just the temple and on faith and just how the temple will because of the temple everything will always turn out okay.
that is why Sarah Allen should be serving a life sentence in prison. Oh, there you are, Sarah.
Oh, hush.
Glad you could grace it before you have to have dinner. But yeah,
I
we were
know
discussing
it.
the great news that mini Ireland is getting the temple.
I know I'm so excited. I actually cried a little.
Yeah, I'm just happy England's not going to afford temple. Although if they ever build one in Birmingham, that will be a miracle. But yeah,
Oh
we're getting
no.
closer and closer to God's country getting the temple. So I say it will be temple in
I
Scotland.
hope.
It will be followed by the temple of Ezekiel's vision, then the Far West temple, and maybe just maybe before just after the millennium.
Yeah, I predicted the other day it would not happen until the millennium.
Yeah,
Sometime during the millennium, we might get an Ireland temple. But that's what I've wanted for at least 15, 20 years now. So Scotland is a very close second on my list. So that's very exciting.
yeah, it's great news. So no, I'm happy for Scotland having a temple. My friend,
Absolutely.
he's been on the podcast. No, he's been crying tears. He lives in Aberdeen, but I don't think that's too far away from Edinburgh. So
No, it's not.
yeah, but yeah, really good news for the Scottish Saints and also like Northern Ireland Saints because they can just like fly over to there as well. So
Yeah, it's got to be closer than the Preston Temple.
It would be, yeah, and it's frankly better. But yeah,
Awesome.
the only thing Preston has, like, they have a bookstore nearby. That's it. I mean, like, at least with the Dungeon Temple, you have like a nice garden spot and the best shippers in the field. So
Yeah. Didn't they have an MTC at the Preston Temple for a while? Is that still there?
I think they still have yeah, no, they still have the MTC there.
Okay. Okay. It's been a long time since I've been there, so I just wanted to make sure.
So I know you're going to be pressed for time, but do you have
Yeah.
any favorite talks or favorite moments from my conference?
Um, Elder Holland is always a highlight, and he looked like he was glowing practically. That was kind of cool. He
He,
looked very healthy.
he did kind of hint though, like he's near the end of his
I
life.
know, I know,
I'm
I
not. It's
know.
like, I know that they're old, so like it's not a tragedy when they pass away. Like President Nelson's
No,
old
but
100, so like if he were to die tomorrow, it would not be a tragedy. It would be unfortunate. It would be, especially from like really heartbreaking when Holland does pass away. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I love President Nelson, so I'm gonna be sad when he goes too, just because I'm gonna miss him until we get to see him again. But I really liked Elder Dushku. I really liked Elder Kieran.
Yeah,
Um,
that talk from the first one you mentioned.
Oh my gosh. Elder
Yeah.
Kieran just destroyed like all the Progmo arguments and everything. I loved
he
that.
he was
Yeah, but there's
great.
like one problem when it comes to him.
He's a Brit. Yeah, we
Yeah,
know.
mortal sin. I mean, do they even have souls? Can they even be apostles, properly speaking?
He,
We'll
he's
never know.
he's not a ginger. He's okay.
That's true. That's true.
I was very struck by how many of them quoted President Nelson, especially the Think Celestial. That was every talk, almost, I think. And
Yeah, like this conference,
huge
they kind of
emphasis
really
on
stress
temples.
explicitly like covenants and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, covenants and temples. And the last time I was meeting with my bishop over going to the temple, he told me that in our singles ward, there have just been a massive influx in the past couple of years of people getting endowed for the first time, getting their recommends renewed after a long period away, all kinds of things. Like it's really exciting to see. So it makes me wonder what's happening if everybody's feeling the urge to go to the temple. Something must be coming.
Does anyone have salt? But no, I really liked it. Like, I knew from the grapevine from someone I know that he was told by some in the church, Hazel, that garments would be like a focus because there's been like some, and I'm not just talking about the apostate Julie Hank, like some even within the church who think like as long as you wear the garment on a regular basis, not like basically 24/7, you're good. So like there was a talk by what's her name? Annette Davis, I think is her name. Annette Davis on the first day that stressed like covenants and then tie that into like say wearing the garment, which was good. And then you had Oaks today basically laid it law down like again Abrahamic covenant and all that fun stuff. That was really good. And then basically outside like say showering and like the usual stuff, we know that there's exceptions for from wearing it. No, you wear the garment on a 24/7 basis. It's not like say on an iterative basis.
Right. And for women, we can wear our other underwear underneath the garments. We don't have to like just wear the garment.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of women do get health issues from wearing the garments every day. That is not my experience, but I know that some women do. I can understand why it's maybe not the most comfortable thing in the world, but there are workarounds, and this is a covenant.
But as a general rule,
yeah, and like it is a covenant. It is a sign of your covenants. They are important to wear.
Let's see if there's any comments. Has Robert read Matthew Gill's guy's Book of Mormon ripoff? Yeah, I've read it. It's absolute crap. Let's see. Let's see. And people think the Book of Mormon is plagiarism. The Chronicles, the Children of Arnak is the perfect example of plagiarism. Actually, that's true. It would be a good case study, like to compare and contrast the purported plagiarism, the Book of Mormon with that of Arnak as a case study. And Yabai says, yeah, Sister Dennis is a good speaker. She did devotional while I was in the MTC. So, yeah.
Cool.
Tyler wants to join, so like he'll be coming on. But yeah, overall, it was a very good conference. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie to you, like when Nelson was speaking, I kind of feared like there would be no temple announcements because like once he reaches Pine Tree, I thought that would be the end of it. But yeah, there's like some really interesting temples, like one in Mexico and a few other places as well. Utah
Yeah.
gets another temple. It's kind of that week.
Two.
Yeah,
Two.
two. Uh,
It's been a
Yeah.
while.
I
West
know.
Jordan was one of them. What
West
was the other one?
Jordan.
Yeah.
Lehigh.
It was- yeah, West Jordan and Lehigh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
good
I'm
because
getting
like
one by my
Smoothie's
house
new
and one by
bride
my
are
job.
living in Lehigh, so that's good for them. Oh, and by the way, like well done to Smooch getting married. He shows there's hope for all us incels out there.
I wonder if you got a similar text to the one Jared got the next morning. So that's
Is this
maybe
something you
something
can
we should
share here, or
discuss
will
off.
you just like
Yeah, that might be something we'll have to discuss later.
I did joke that she had a nice pregnant girl when she visited the office on Friday. So
Nice.
but no, joking aside, his wife is absolutely lovely, and turns out she actually has some Irish ancestors. So they're gonna have like Irish babies, as I joke with him.
Nice.
Yeah, for those who know, Smoot got married on Wednesday, and he say he's done well in the bride department is a understatement. She's really cool. She also did her thesis on Mountain Meadows Massacre.
Yeah, I've only met her once, but I really liked her. I thought
No,
she was great.
I've met her a couple of times. She was here in the office on Friday because her sister was getting
Oh.
sealed. No, she's absolutely lovely. So yeah, Smoot did well.
I also heard that in the most Stephen thing ever, they set their marriage date because it was the anniversary of Elijah coming to the Kirtland
Yeah.
Temple.
That was purposeful.
Yeah, that was just the most Stephen thing ever.
Yeah, and also like her sister got sealed like 2 days later, and like that was the anniversary of Oliver and Joseph meeting one another.
Wow.
But I don't think that was
Nice.
planned by the sister. But hi Tyler. What did you think of conference and any favorite talks?
I don't know about you, Robert. I hope you can forgive Elder Kieran for being British, but I really enjoyed his talk. I thought it was really good. I remember I saw Barksdale posted somewhere about how that's the best talk he's heard in a long time. I wouldn't go that far, but it was really, really good. This conference was overall just really, really good.
Yeah, generic koala, which I'm going to say is like an excellent YouTube name. So excited for the Edinburgh Temple. It was a total shock, but I love it for my old city. Ireland will be next. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I did not hear anything in the grapevine from like any of my friends or associates there. I don't, and I know like loads of people in Scotland did not even know that wasn't the cards. So if they knew about it, like the stake presidency and stuff like that, they kept it really well under lock and key. So, but yeah, for anyone in the Scotland area, again, congrats, dudes. I'm really happy for you. And again, really happy England's not getting another temple. So, yeah. But no, yeah, joking aside, Kieran's talk was good. Dutch Crew's talk was really good as well, where he was even like trying to harmonize different accounts of the first version. I think that was absolutely based. I mean, and also like Holland's talk was great. Uchtdorf's talk was brilliant, especially like the joke, at the Esther, where he just basically owned the fact like he's the airplane guy.
Oh, they're saying Amazing Grace.
Yeah, that too.
That was exciting.
So stick it, you prods out there. But yeah, that was great. And I think like some of the hymns, I think they're like test cases for like what will be the next hymnal. And I'm going to say this now. I will friggin' revolt if Praise the Man is removed from the hymnal.
Oh, I know.
I
love that
agree.
song.
That would be capitulation to the friggin' progs who just hate Joseph and that hymn.
Yeah, that one, and then the other one that like a lot of people don't seem to like is If You Could Hide a Kolob, and I love that hymn.
Oh, they better not get rid of that one. That's like
No,
the most,
they better
our,
not.
our,
No,
our most
they have to keep
Mormon
that
hymn.
in. I mean,
I
come
know.
on, like, I forget which like Q and A on the Mormon Org website. I think maybe like either the second, the 19-1 or some other one. Like, I was told like by a few people at CHL, they really love the stuff we do at BHR because like we basically embrace the weirdness, and that hymn is basically us embracing the weirdness, and I mean that in a good way of LDS cosmology and scripture. I mean, say what you will, like, but Kolob is actually in the Book of Abraham, and the Book of Abraham is canonical. So, at least have one Kolob hymn. And although Phelps was a bit nutty at times, like that was a great contribution he provided.
His other really great one, obviously, Spirit of God. Again, embracing the weirdness. So
Although, like, if they were to like bring back like two versions, like the current one, but also the old one that has like a lot of the temple imagery and stuff like that. Which, funny enough, like the Bicker Knights in their hymnal actually has the old one with the temple imagery.
Wait,
That's cool.
of the
Yeah, it was
spirit.
like myself and Spencer Krause went to the Church of Jesus Christ, the Bicker Knight meeting they had a few weeks ago,
with
where
Josh Gailey?
was. Yeah, just to meet Josh Gailey, which we did, was real fun. But they actually passed out their hymnal, and they basically used the old version of the Spirit of God,
That's cool.
which I thought was really cool, especially considering like they don't really do temple stuff. But yeah, but I thought it was cool.
I did not know there's an older version of the Spirit of God with temple imagery. I'm gonna have to look into that now.
Yeah, like look up the old. Basically, for just to Google it, you'll find. But like, there's like about like there's some like temple imagery in it and stuff like that. Like washing of the feet and stuff like that. So it's really good.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure if it wasn't the original 1835, 1836 hymnal, but you'll just like Google it, you'll find anyway. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a very good conference. But as I said, like I know, like one outside the conference, like there's been discussions about the hymnal because, of course, we're getting a new one. Although
starting in May.
Yeah, starting in May. So
Can't believe it's that
that's
soon.
like say test balloons before like the finalized one or something like that. But as I said, I do hope they don't get rid of like a lot of the uniquely LDS ones, like "Oh my Father, praise the man, Spirit of God."
They better not get rid of "Oh my Father." That's one of my favorites.
No, that's actually my favorite hymn. It's like, first of all, it's a beautiful theology. It's a beautiful hymn. And it's also written by one of the most kick-ass women of all time. Eliza.
Right?
Amen.
I love her. I know. I love her. She's one of my top favorite female members of the church to look up to.
The random fact, like Boss's dog is actually called Roxy after Eliza Roxy Snow.
Nice.
Yeah, based. But no, Eliza Orston was freaking awesome. For those in the chat who have never studied her, definitely do. Like Plural Wife of Joseph and later Brigham, absolute kick-ass awesome woman and stuff like that.
The other one I really like is Zina Huntington. She was pretty awesome too.
What about Fanny Alger?
I don't know much about her other than like Dom's stuff. Apparently, that's what the accounts say.
Yeah, you probably noticed, but like Signatures bring out a book on polygamy, various essays on it, and Don's essay, which hopefully will be the definitive study on Fanny Alger, not Fanny, will be coming out. Yeah, will be out hopefully like the next few weeks. It being Signature, it'll probably be pushed back a while, but I'm really looking forward to it because apparently he argues, and I think Blake Oster thinks this is the case as well. Whatever it was, either a marriage or sitting, took place after the restoration of the keys in 1836. And if that's the case, that's going to be a game changer for Joseph's theology of eternal marriage, but also her age and a couple other common objections as well.
Yes. Before I go, because I have to leave in just a sec, I might come back later, but that's not all he's arguing. So there are going to be some big bombshells. He's got a second paper coming out a little while after that one. So there's a lot more involving Oliver Cowdery and adoption ceilings, and I'm not going to spoil it for everybody because I know Don's really excited for it and he wants to be able to announce it, but it's going to be huge. And I have to go, so I will see you guys later.
Sure. If you catch it, I'll log you in if you are back on. But thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
All right. See you, Sarah.
Hi.
See ya.
Alex. See ya.
Yeah, and Jedediah has just joined. So hi, Jedediah. If you want to turn on your mic in that video.
Wait, so Don's writing a paper on Fanny Alger. Is that coming out?
He's already written like some stuff on Fanny before, but like there's this essay that's appearing in an anthology that's coming out in a few weeks. So he's written it already. But he basically argues it was a sealing, it wasn't an adulterous affair, and it took place after the restoration of the keys. Because one of the objections is like, why is Joseph engaged in plural marriage before the keys of Abraham and Elijah are restored in April 1836? So was it only plural? Or was it only plural marriage, or was it like a sealing? And it was a sealing. How could that be the case before Section 110 of the Doctrine and Covenants?
That makes sense.
He's basically arguing, no, whatever took place, it took place after April 3rd, 1836.
I actually had that thought today as President Nelson was talking about the 3 visitations. I was thinking like about Fanny Alger, actually, that came to mind. So that's really funny that he wrote a paper on that. I cannot wait to see that. Where's that coming out to?
Oh, it's coming out in the anthology of essays on by signature. I'll actually let's see. What I'll do is like I'll share the link on the yeah, I'll share the link in a second. It's by Bruno, published by Signature Books. I'll try to find on yes, it's called Secret Covenants: New Insights on Early Mormon Polygamy, edited by Cheryl Bruno. What I will do is like on the YouTube chat, I will actually just share the link on Amazon. But yeah, I don't know all the contributors. All I know is like Don has at least one, maybe two essays in that book, and I don't always agree with Don, but like Don is brilliant at finding documents very few people have ever heard of, and also synthesizing them and discussing them. Like if you're familiar with like 116 pages book, that's
I need to read that.
example of Don. But yeah, it should be good. Let's see some comments before is Jedediah? Okay, Jedediah left, so yeah. But hopefully he'll be back on. Let's see. Aim says, I'm with you, praising the man, don't remove it. Yep, based Kranzeg. Unfortunately, I'm rarely able to focus or stay awake during general conference. I almost always have to review the transcripts whenever they come out. Anyone know where that is? It should be on like the church's website soon. When it comes to say the transcripts, I think. You can also like listen to like the videos, standalone talks from yesterday, and they should be Sundays. Today's should be on like Monday or Tuesday. Aim says we'll be washed with the all be anointed. Yeah, that's one of the temple teams in the original Spirit of God. Yeah. Ben, I thought it was interesting when President Nelson said the Gospel of Abraham. Did I hear that right? Yeah, and you did, because like the figure called Elias in section 110, who I believe to be Noah, actually did restore the keys of the dispensation of the Gospel of Abraham, and that was the reference in the Kirtland Temple. So, and like I know the Gospel of Abraham is mentioned in Galatians, and like unlike the Mosaic covenant, the Abrahamic covenant is still in effect; it's perpetual, you know. And we do have like a theology of it in both the Book of Mormon and other uniquely LDS texts and theology. So, yeah. Body said he won't debate with you, but he has some unearned champion just for you. I'm guessing it's Travis Morgan or some other absolute asshole. Body's a coward. I'm not waste my time with
He's
him.
still talking about you, by the way. He made another post about you today.
He's obsessed, but like he doesn't have the balls to actually face me like a man. You know, he's a typical prod. You know, that's all I'll say.
I know, and he called you a coward. I was like, okay, but you're the one who blocked him.
Yeah.
And he didn't respond to me about after that. So
yeah, generic koala, President Holland had my favorite talk. It was just so refreshing to hear him voice again. Yeah, because like it's been what, a year and a half since he spoke. He hasn't spoken at the previous two conferences because of health and other considerations. So and he's not looking 100%. Like you can tell he's in these mid 80s, and I don't mean that in any bad way, but he's aged. Let's just put it that way. But and he did kind of drop hints like he doesn't have much longer to live, but I hope he's wrong, you know. But yeah.
And I mean, he also seems, a little bit more down since his wife passed as well.
Understandably, like they were married for like what, 60 years or something like that.
Oh my gosh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
Yeah, but I really liked his talk. So any other talks that stood out or any? Let's see. Aim says, I was impressed by Elder Bones speaking so directly about miracles. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting talk. No other comments about like the whole garments being underscored in terms of importance?
Yes, I thought that was interesting. I don't think that's been done recently, at least in my memory. But I thought there was a lot of talk about garments, and I thought that was really, really good because I think a lot of people needed to hear that.
Yeah, because like I know we were discussing previously, like one of the annoying things is like there's so many members of the church who actually think you just have to wear them on a regular basis, or maybe the church, they're not a big deal. But like my dudes, do you pay attention to like the temple and any of its covenants or its importance? But yeah, that's why I like the fact there were actually two talks, one yesterday by Annette Davis and one today by Oaks. And it wasn't just simply temple garments, simpliciter. It was the background to like temple covenants and all that jazz. And then that was segued into this is the importance of garments, like trying to situate them in terms of, say, the covenants we make, temple theology and temple worship, and there being an external sign of the covenants we make, and for those who pay attention to the temple ceremony at the veil, you'll know what the significance of those markings are. So yeah, my dudes, outside like say bathing and other stuff, you're to wear them 24/7. And maybe it's just me, but I don't really see what so many people are bitching about them. Like, when I received my endowment a couple of years ago, like, I thought they were very comfortable. Maybe it's just like the difference between Irish and U.S. underwear, but like, I like wearing them. I don't know why so many people hate them.
Yeah, I'm fine wearing them. I just get the material that I like, that I like wearing, and that's what I wear.
I'm just glad it's not a onesie and I don't have to wear that.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah. So you feel sorry for the very poor saints, in the early days. Not just a onesie, but like it was like it was a torture device in terms of heat. It's just yeah, yeah. So I think the Lord has been a bit gracious to us in our generation that we can actually have different types of garments, in terms of composition.
I think that's just a sign of the Lord accommodating to our needs, because I will keep my covenants, but it will be a lot harder if I have to wear a onesie and it's 90 degrees out in the desert.
Yeah. I really liked Elder Anderson's as well. His talk was really good on just like the growth of the church.
Yeah, generic Koala says, what the garments thing is important is related to the overall message that we need to take our calling seriously. That seemed like the overarching prophetic declaration to us. Yeah, I agree. And Drew says, I don't know how anyone can go through the endowments and still be flippant about wearing them. Yeah, that's what I don't get. If you pay attention to the temple endowment sermon, and like you go even like semi-regular-ish, it's stated, it's not like if you just pay very close attention, like say the symbol, and you kind of interpret it in this way means this kind of stuff. It's not esoteric. It's explicit. you know, um, at the start and before like you do certain things to get into the celestial room, it's part and parcel of the entire process. And again, it's also part of the Temple Recommend interview one that goes through like every 2 years. It's not exactly something that's like esoteric or lost in symbolic interpretation or anything like that. Again, it's one of those things like I understand why the church had, in two talks had to address this because it's a plague, but at the same time, I kind of feel sorry. I just kind of wish they didn't have to deal with it, if that makes sense.
Oh.
And like Andrew says, every temple recommend interview has clear instructions and reminder about the garments. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of will be interesting to see the backlash to these talks. You know, which you just know will be the case. Because like one of the teens that were annoying was like a wife of a certain historian was bitching that like covenants and like going to church and all that was being stressed, but not being Christ-like. But it's like, my dude, who is the source of the efficacy of covenants? And in whose name and authority do you actually make covenants? And all these things point to this certain dude, what's his name? I don't know. It's not Jesus, my Mexican gardener. It's like, oh no, what's his name? Come on.
Yeah, I have a feeling, I don't know, I have a feeling there's going to be a few progmos who will be saying a few things about that.
Prague was going to Prague. And Andrew says, I blame my screen name from AIM. Yeah, I kind of figured. But just be, yeah, I knew that was you. I didn't know if you wanted me to use your real name last time I shared the article. But yeah, everyone check out Andrew's article on the Interpreter website and King Benjamin and Temple stuff. But yeah, any other comments from like this year, this semi-annual conference? Because I thought it was a good one. One disappointment, they did not canonize the family proclamation.
I was kind of hoping, honestly, one thing that didn't happen that I was kind of hoping we'd get more stuff on is, we got the original manuscripts from like the Joseph Smith translation. I was hoping that there would be something about that, that we were gonna like release. They were gonna release like copies of that, but
yeah, to be fair, like we do actually have the scans of them, albeit with the copyright Community of Christ on the JS Papers website.
Oh yes, we
yeah.
do.
But yeah, like they didn't really like mention it. Maybe because like they do have a policy because they do want to have like say friendly relations with the Community of Christ, not to like stick their face in it. Like President Nelson like mentioned it, but like he did give credit to the Community of Christ for taking care of the Kirtland Temple and all that jazz. But yeah, we have the manuscripts and we have the temple buys, so yay to that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like, and I'm sure like I know like some of my friends who are members of restorationist groups, but not LDS or Community of Christ, are happy we have them because they're happy a group that takes Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon seriously actually has possession of them now. I'm not going to name names, but they've been on my podcast, so like if you know who it, that's a very that's a hint. But yeah, really glad. Again, I know it was a few weeks ago, so it's a bit old hat now, but really, I didn't expect it to happen in now. I thought it would happen like in a few years from now, but really happy the church actually acquired the Kirtland Temple and all the cool manuscripts. And what's also awesome is like Mormon History Association was scheduled, and it's still scheduled to be in Kirtland. So I'm just going to we'll be in possession of the material when I go there in June. That's gonna be real fun, and of course I'll be wearing my polygamy shirt throughout the event. So just to deny about prognos and also Community of Christ people who hate Joseph Smith. Because did anyone catch that interview with the former LDS member who's now Community of Christ, the lady on the Gospel Tangents podcast on YouTube?
I don't think I did.
Okay, well, it's a waste of time. But like one of the segments was basically like the Community of Christ's attitude towards the Book of Mormon. Now, say what you will about Joseph Smith III, who was a liar and a false prophet, but like historic or LDS had a very conservative stance on, say, the Book of Mormon. That's why, like, say, some of the break-off groups of that church take Book of Mormon historicity seriously. Like my friend Adam Stokes, if you're familiar with him, he's now a member of the Elijah Message churches. But like he used to be a Baptist. He had a very powerful spiritual witness about the Book of Mormon, and he actually became a member of one of these smaller or LDS groups that took Book of Mormon seriously. Now he left because the Community of Christ like became too much of a liberal cesspool for him, But the Community of Christ these days, since at least the 60s, have really basically functionally jettisoned the Book of Mormon. For them, it's purely parabolic. That is only a teaching device, but they never use it in talks. And she basically said that there's members of the Community of Christ that hate the Book of Mormon and will never use it. And it's like, wow. And it's been said like the Community of Christ is basically a test case study of a church being apostasy. Because basically once you jettison the foundational claims of your movement, you're effed. There's no nice way about that. It would be the equivalent, like say, a Christianity as a whole jettisons the historicity of Jesus and the historicity of a physical resurrection and all of that. You don't have a foundation anymore, so give over. There's no such thing as truth claims, and you're going to heck in a handbasket.
Yeah, I don't know, and then they also believe in the Trinity now.
What type of Trinity though? Because like
I'm not exactly sure. I just know that they are like they're Trinitarians now. Like I'd have to look deeper into that, but yeah.
Drew says, I didn't even know that the marks existed until I did the veil for the first time. It all clicked in my head after that. I've never looked back. Magic undies for life. Michael says, we did have a reference to JST, though. I know the not versus you knew me not. Yeah, that was pretty solid though. I haven't verified this, but it might be the first JST reference in conference, maybe. No. Outside the Book of Moses, I'm sure there's been loads of references to the JST. You know, let's see, Jacob. What is Jacob Hansen debating Trent Warren about? Whether the Book of Mormon is inspired. Jacob was in Utah this weekend. He met up with Blake on Friday morning. He met up with me for lunch in the afternoon, and we talked shop. I like he's tapped. So if he sticks to it and he does the homework between here and August, he should do a good job. If he sticks to his guns. He did bring up some things he wants to discuss, and I'm saying, like, don't do it. I'm not going to say what it is, but like it's one of those things where like I would agree with him, but it would take so much time to meaningfully unpack. You can't do it in a lot of time. Type of stuff. So it will be interesting to see if he actually does take what myself and Blake have told him to do. Andrew says, I live outside St. Louis. In our state, there are 3 or 4 strong families that used to be Community of Christ. Also, the area authority over area Jeremiah Morgan used to be Community of Christ as well. And he's in favor of treating them for progmos. For some of their good members who actually believe in restoration, 3-1 would be fair to me. Yeah, I mean, there's certain like very active progressive members of the church who should be Community of Christ. Jackson Mothbert. But there are like still some good members of the Community of Christ. Like they're far and few between who take Joseph Smith seriously. But yeah, I'd be happy for a trade. You know, even if it's a toss one ratio. Let's see. Drew says the modalist type of Trinity most likely. Yeah, I mean, I know that they are quote unquote Trinitarian, but what do you mean by Trinitarian? Yeah, Tyler?
I got up their website. They have a nice little website. This is on their basic beliefs page. This is on their page about God. It says, we believe in one living God who meets us in the testimony of Israel, is revealed in Jesus Christ, and moves through all creation as a Holy Spirit. We affirm the Trinity, God who is a community of 3 persons. All things that exist owe their being to God, mystery beyond understanding and love beyond imagination. This God alone is worthy of our worship.
That sounds like social Trinitarianism.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, so not really like creedal Latin stuff, more like, say, Richard Swinburne modern stuff, which I would have no real objection to, but like also use of he, like single pronouns for this one God. I don't know. I would love like a Community of Christ member to break it down a bit because it seems like it could go either social Trinitarian or inconsistent modals. So, but yeah, that's just me. And any other comments from and generic koala? I think that was always the case with the oral. Yes, they'd be Trinitarian. A lot of them didn't like novel theology. Yeah, they never actually liked quote unquote novel theology. Although I would agree with Blake Oster and Don Bradley, what we call novel theology is just basically an explication of everything that came beforehand. But yeah, again, it could be social Trinitarian, but it doesn't seem like Latin or Eastern Trinitarianism. But that's just like a very brief comment. So I know that they're not at least functionally modalists to their credit. But yeah, if any Community of Christ member, someone who's very knowledgeable about the Community of Christ, not the historical or LDS Church, would be interesting to see like a breakdown of their the nuances, if you will. Okay. Yeah, Jedediah hasn't joined us. So any other comments anyway, like from conference or anything like related in the past week of Mormonism that's been of interest to you guys?
I don't know. I think I kind of said everything I wanted to about conference. It was just I'm just glad that we were able to do it. I always look forward to conference, and I always look forward to just hearing the speakers and everything like that. So I'm really glad that this conference went well and that we were able to just get lots of insights that, I was wondering kind of what the theme of this conference was going to be as well. And I mean, I think that the main one was just keeping covenants. So
yeah, that was good. And Tyler, any other comments you want to make before we might wrap things up a bit early?
Nothing related to conference, but this is a question I have, if you're okay with diverting away from conference.
Go ahead.
This is a question, I gotta pull it up. It's from I was reading in John because I was led to John for some reason at the beginning of the year, and I haven't found an answer to this yet. But it was the premise of the Pharisees' question in John 1:25, whereas this is in the KJV. And they asked him, this is talking to John the Baptist, and said unto him, why baptizest thou then, if thou be not that Christ, nor Elias, neither that prophet? And I was wondering, why the heck would baptism be connected to those three figures? Like, what was it in their beliefs or their minds that connected baptism to that?
Okay, let's see, verse 25. Let's see if there's any comments here. I don't have my copy of Raymond Brown's commentary on it, so let's see the extra references here. I'll find my copy of the NET here. Yeah, I'm trying to find my copy of stuff on John here. Oh, here we are. Sorry, trying to. But off the top of my head, like there was the expectation that there would be like the prophet from Deuteronomy 18, which, funny enough, Christ claims to be the fulfillment of. So that could be like one of the reasons, like, why are you doing this if you don't actually have authority? And it's kind of let me just read a commentary, and this is from a Protestant. And they questioned him, and they said to him, why then are you baptizing if you're neither the anointed one, Messiah, nor Elijah, nor the prophet? John presupposes that his audience is familiar with the baptizing ministry. The Pharisees presuppose that baptism has eschatological, that is, end-time significance. Although documentary evidence for such a conviction is outside the New Testament's 10, ritual baiting does seem to have eschatological, that is, end-time significance in the Qumran community, the Dead Sea Scrolls community. So it seemed like for the Pharisees, they believed only those who have this kind of role in end times events actually should be baptizing. Like they mentioned Elijah, and of course there was the belief like Elijah would come a la Malachi. And of course, John the Baptist was in the spirit of Elijah or Elias. And the prophet, that is probably a reference to Deuteronomy 18, like, about, and we know from Acts 3 and also the book of Mark that Christ was the prophet, if you will, like the ultimate prophet in the lineage of Moses. So the Pharisees were presupposing only those who have this explicit appointment, if you will, alongside the Messiah, appointment to actually have this kind of end times function and role in eschatology, end times theology, could actually be engaged in baptism. And, and that seems to be like what's going on there. So.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's let's see. Andrew says, I've got one, the hymn Amazing Grace, to pick up a smidge of Calvinism, the theology such as perseverance of saints in line, as long as life endures. Is that problematic? Well, maybe we could like reappropriate William Wines Phelps, the hymn, and kind of make it a bit more modern friendly. And Generic Koala says Twitter is finding about Bruce McConkie again very polarized. Does the panel have a side? I'll give my views about McConkie, but if you guys want to chime in, I'll let you go in as well because he's a polarizing figure. But I'll say this: I've read everything that's available from McConkie, and I'm trying to like track down one or two of his works that his family don't exactly want people to actually have access to, and that's all I'm going to say. But as someone who's actually read like his books, like Mormon Doctrine, his commentaries and stuff like that, easily 80 to 90% of what McConkie wrote was very good. Like 80%, no disagreement. Like 10%, like I would agree with him substantially, but how he gets there, like an interpretation of a passage or some of his reasoning, I might disagree with. But that would be like not really substantial differences. It's usually like 10%, like say his views on Black people pre-1978, his views on higher criticism, his understanding, say, evolution in the age of the earth and pre-Adamites, like that kind of 10%, I'm happy to say I think he's wrong. and I think he's wrong in dismissing like open theism and stuff like that, like some of these seven deadly heresies talk. But like overall, like I'm a fan of McConkie, believe it or not. Like I really love most of his work. I like his work in Christology, even if I think he's reliant on like too much 19th century, 20th century dated scholarship and stuff like that. Same thing I would have a problem with when it comes to Talmud and his book in Christ. Doctrinally good, historically, meh. But no, overall, like I would side like pro Bruce McConkie, even with my disagreements about some of his views. So, but it should be noted, like say the first presidency did a study of like the first edition of Mormon Doctrine, like found 1,000 errors in it. Something like President McKay noted in his presidential journals, to the effect. And there's like a nice breakdown in these journals about it. But yeah, that's my views about McConkie. Like overall, like yeah, I side with McConkie. I understand, like, saying why people have problems with some of these perspectives. Like, once you take overall, like, again, 80-90%, like, largely in agreement. So, Tyler, if you have any comments about Bruce McConkie, and then Felix.
I like a lot of his stuff. I think I would agree with you now that I think about some of the things that he said on Christ and the work on Christology. I really like his stuff on that. My views on McConkie were influenced mainly by a PDF of the first edition of Mormon Doctrine that I found somewhere. I can't remember where I got it, but I got it on my mission and I read it. It was like, oh shoot, and that was my start of a journey realizing that people in positions make mistakes, and that's okay, and it's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable with that. But I think I'm with you there. He, besides his very fundamentalist views of Scripture, I really like his work on Christ and his testimony of Christ.
Yeah, it's like my objections, like my views about McConkie would hold more or less the same for his father-in-law, Joseph Fielding Smith as well. 80-90% in agreement, at 10%, like no. But Felix, any comments on Bruce McConkie, who he's like a very polarizing figure?
Yeah, no, I like McConkie as well. I read sometimes if I just want to like get like a basic rundown of like just a specific topic, I can just go to Mormon Doctrine, his book Mormon Doctrine. I can usually find it in there. I do feel like a few of his ideas are, of course, a little bit dated, and I feel like those aren't like, obviously they're not official church doctrine. They're kind of his opinions or his views on things. But other than that, sometimes like if you want just like the facts about a certain subject, you can find it with him. And I really like that.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Jacob Mayberry, yo, dude, what are your thoughts on Trevin Hash's book, A Stranger in Jerusalem? I'm not sure if you guys have read the book, but it came out a while ago. He's nominally LDS, I'll say that. I don't think he's actually believing Latter-day Saint. But to answer your question, I read it a few years ago when it came out. It's okay. I mean, what I like about the book is like he does argue Mark has a higher Christology than many other people believe to be. And I'd like to have some excerpts from the book on my blog showing this, like the baptism scene and a few other things. So for that, it's okay. But like he basically like toes the party line on practically everything to do when it comes to Mark, like Mark and priority, Q, its relationship, it being the earliest gospel, Mark and priority, and a bunch of other things as well. Where if you're familiar with, like, say, non-LDS scholarship, and the book, although it's written by Latter-day Saint, is not an LDS book, if you will, you're not going to like get a lot of new stuff out of it. Although it is cool, like say someone who's LDS having a book on the topic by a non-LDS publisher. I think it was Whip and Stock or some other subsidiary of Whip and Stock. That's fine, but it's not groundbreaking. So if you can get on the sheep, yeah, but like you're not going to miss out on too much if you're familiar with, like, say, Markan scholarship already and related topics vis-a-vis the historical Jesus and other things like that. So I mean, it's okay. And again, like if you kind of go on my blog and type in, like, say, Trevin Hatch, you'll see like one or two blogs where he produced like some of these comments about the Christology of Mark. And he would agree with, like, say, Judy Smith in her BYU studies commentary, and she herself is liberal, that Mark does have what we would call a high Christology. Jesus is seen as divine, not simply a mere man in Mark's gospel. And it's like this when it comes to say the priority of the gospels. My mind says Mark, my heart says Matthew. So, but let's just kind of go with Mark in priority, like Mark was first gospel. If that's a high Christology, that would mean like the other gospels would have as high, if not a higher Christology in the view of Hatch and Ehrman and others. So it's pretty significant in that respect as well. So yeah, it's okay. Do you agree with his take on the Pharisees? It's been I don't remember what he says about the Pharisees off the top of my head. So El Marie says, pretty please do a video on Michael Furnay. Is Michael active on polemics these days? I haven't heard from the guy for a while. I know like the beggar all logic and talk blog is dead. They haven't posted since February of last year. And frankly, does anyone know if Furnay is actually still active in like anti-LDS polemics?
I mean, I've talked with him recently, and like we'll talk every once in a while, but like he kind of told me that he just decided that it wasn't worth just arguing with random strangers online about what they should and shouldn't believe in. So he basically just told me, yeah, I'm kind of just focusing more on just building my my business right now and just not worrying about that kind of thing. That's kind of why he he doesn't do the ex-Mormon apologist page. That's not really him anymore. He gave that away to someone else. I don't know who. And then yeah, like he doesn't write anti-Mormon literature anymore. So
So it seems like he's kind of mellowed out and moved on a bit.
yeah.
What's his
Yeah,
business?
that's kind of what he told me.
What's his business that he's focusing on?
So I guess that he does pest control.
Okay, well, I know he has a kid, and I know he got remarried a while ago. So, like, believe it or not, I actually do hope he does well, just because of that. So,
Yeah.
but no, here's the thing, like, if Thurnai wants to cool down and like, because like his stuff after he came out of the church was crap and very emotional and stuff like that. Even if he wants to go down, like, say, I'm still going to be very critical of the LDS, maybe taking some time out to cool his head and think of better arguments than relying on Fred Anson and others, it might actually be good for him. Even if, and maybe then if he can actually show himself to actually be informed about these issues, I'll actually interact with his stuff as videos or something like that. And if he actually does behave himself, like he actually shows he's an honest actor, I'll actually dialogue with him here. So, but I'm not holding my breath in that respect. And I know he will never talk to me. But let's see. Ruru says, if we can make video response requests, I'd love to see one recently at YouTube. Why Mormons a satanic perversion of Christianity? Is that a pro one or a con one? I can't exactly tell by the name. El Murray says Paul is promoting Michael Furnay. Let's see. Josiah says Scotland. Yep. And Stutz says Michael Furnay handed his reins to Facebook discussion group. I'm one of the moderators. There. So, okay, that's interesting. By the way, thanks, you could actually grace St. James. Hopefully, we'll actually meet in person sometime. Maybe long overdue. By the way, James is the one who's to blame for me actually starting my blog. He asked me to start it, and after 5 years, I decided to. Although I did tell him like I was making him wait like 10 years, but I was generous. So, but yeah. Any other comments from the guys in the chat? Have you had any interactions with Mike Winner? I have not had any interactions with him, but I've seen some of his stuff. Not just in Mormonism, but like his stuff in Roman Catholicism is pretty bad as well. Say what you will about them, but like both Trent Warren and what's his name? Michael Lofton of Reason and Theology have done a decent job. Trent has actually done a very good job. Michael Lofton has done a decent job at reviewing Mike Winder's stuff in Catholicism. And his stuff in Mormonism is pretty bad. Like I know he knows Jack about the Book of Abraham beyond, like say maybe Charles Darson's book or some other stuff that's dated for a couple of decades, but I really doubt he's read anyway. Say I've seen Smoosh, Gee, and all Book of Abraham stuff. But yeah, I have not had interactions with Mike Linner, but if Mike ever wants to like a dialogue or debate and say Sola Scriptura or something like that, I'd be down. I know he's Calvary Chapel, so he would have a very low view of sacramental theology as well. So, and you guys have maybe I should ask, you guys know who Mike Winner is?
I have not heard that name.
Nope. But I
He's
mean,
a
if he's
pretty
from
popular
Calvary
like, Calvary
Chapel, I don't
Chapel
have.
guy. So he does like loads of videos and stuff like that. But again, Calvary Chapel, I mean, one should not really expect like say very good theology.
Well, we all have a good friend, I guess you could call him that. That goes to Calvary Chapel too. So my
Although
opinion of
this
them is not very high.
although this quote unquote friend does not believe in eternal security, and I believe that's a tenet of Calvary Chapel theology,
That's true.
which doesn't make sense to me. Like, yeah. Thomas Brown 010.
Quote unquote friend refuses to talk to me right now. So
Ellery, I would love you to debate Paul Mickelson. Travis had an interaction with Paul Mickelson. I'm not sure if he's made it available publicly, but Travis did well. Mickelson did not, and that's all I'm going to say. Mickelson does not want to interact with anyone who's not a missionary, and I think we all know. This is not me dumping on anyone who's ever been a missionary, but like 18 to 20-year-olds with no theological training or no background information, easy pickings. But you kind of throw myself or Travis in. It doesn't go well.
yeah.
Like
Well, speaking of, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like watching a kid with cerebral palsy try to fight Muhammad Ali. I think that'd just be really bad.
Oh geez. Josiah says Mike Winner is a Down syndrome version of Matt Walsh.
Josiah, bro. I was gonna say, speaking of people named Paul, I mean, I'm sure you remember Paul Grants, Robert, and just on behalf of everybody from Cheyenne, because he lives here in Cheyenne. I am so sorry that he
the old guy, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Travis was convinced he'd have a heart attack if the conversation lasted. Yeah. I know Paul Mickelson in real life. It's sad. Yeah. I'm guessing you mean Paul Mickelson and not Paul B. But either way, I do feel sorry that you know.
I'm sure. I don't know if y'all have seen this. There's a page on Facebook. It's a newish page. What's it called? Mormon Myths. I occasionally check them out because they like post screenshots of groups that are predominantly Latter-day Saint. They're really funny. Their arguments are really awful. Even I with very little theological training can tell it. This is just so bad. I don't even know who's behind that, but they like to hide behind their veil of anonymity, and they think they're really cool, but they're not.
Seems like most
into
are
a
like
certain
that.
secret group that we belong to and have shared screenshots of that, or is it like a different one?
It's that one. I still need to figure out a way to get data off of the members list of that group and not violate Facebook's terms of service and get banned. Yeah, if you're watching right now, we'll find you. I mean, we will find out who you are.
Oh yeah, we will.
We're not gonna do anything threatening. We'll just kick you out of the group. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. We were saying Paul Gee is a netter. Yeah, and Elmery, I used to teach Zumba with he's Paul Mickelson's wife. He has a whole anti-Mormon website now on his Facebook. He's purely anti-LDS. It's public and we have mutual friends. It's awkward. Yeah, I've only seen his article against praise to the man, and it's very myopic in terms of the humans being praised and stuff like that. It's not that good. So, but yeah, he doesn't seem to be that informed. And like his interaction with Travis, for those who have listened to it, that kind of reveals that to be the case.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you're still doing the LDS apologists next week, right?
I think it's either this Saturday or next Saturday, but yes, I will. Oh, and speaking of which, Sarah is joining us, so I think she'll actually like this. Hi again, Sarah. Yeah,
Okay.
Felix was asking about like the whole ranking LDS apologists from
Yes.
guess who's appearing on the tier list?
Ew.
Guess.
Well, you said you were gonna. What are you pointing out?
Yeah, you're gonna be on the tier list.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh yeah.
No.
Uh,
Okay.
it'll be interesting to see if our
No.
friendship lasts after that one.
Oh, I'm not holding out hope.
Yeah. No, I'll be including like say some past and present LDS apologists who have like an online presence, like Jeff Lindsay, Sarah
Okay.
Smoosh, John Tretnas, Dan Peterson, also B.H. Roberts and the Pratt brothers and stuff like that.
I am nowhere in that company.
Well, you did do the CS letter, so you know we have, and you do have contemporary currency, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. No heart
That'll be all.
involved. I also have Quaker.
Oh, okay. What about Hugh Nibley?
No, because like he will be like S tier. So what's the point? You know, there'll be Nibley, and then like
That's
game
true.
over. There's no hope for everyone else. Everyone else is gonna be an F.
Yeah, that's true. I know. He definitely dwarfs me by like millions. So
Jacob says Bridger and I are probably too new to make a list. A bit new, yes, but you know, I have to say, like, by the way, everyone check out Bridger and Jacob Mayberry's YouTube.
yes,
It's really good. I mean,
yeah,
I have my problems when it comes to some aspects of Bridger, you know, when it comes to say some of his social views, but the stuff he and Jacob have been presenting is top
yes,
notch. It's brilliant. They've done like great videos on say Oliver Cowdery and other
absolutely.
debunkings, and they've done a very good one about the oh, what was the name of the show? We did like a brief review of the stuff on homosexuality, the debate between LDS and non-LDS, like Quaku and other. I forget the name of the show, but that one as well. So like, yeah, if you want to share like the name of your channel, Jacob, definitely
Yeah.
do. So everyone should check it out. I think it's called, is
Yeah.
it called Real Mormons? But yeah, it's but maybe like when I do like it again, like say maybe in a year or two, if we do like a tier listing, and we'll include your channel. Or like maybe like what I should do is like a tier listing on say YouTube LDS channels.
Yes.
That would be a good one. So like they will definitely be on it. And actually, truth be told, even if they were just like based on it now, they'd be like B or C at the very least. You know.
Oh, easily,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah, I would say B.
Yeah.
I think they're great.
Yes. Channel is called Actual Mormons. What I'm going to do is like I'm going to share the link. So like everyone, if you subscribe to this channel, you have to subscribe to their channels. We'll all share the link on my
Yeah.
what I will do is like share it here.
I don't know, Jacob and Bridger. Yeah, no, they're really good. I do like watching them from time to time.
Yeah,
So
they've actually done like very good videos. Like the videos Mormons react to Jubilee. You know, there's one on the FBI and the Church for recruitment. There's one on Oliver Cowdery and his testimony in the Book of Mormon. One on anachronisms and DNA and other stuff about the Book of Mormon. Like they have very good videos, like and they're in depth. And as I said, like I have my problems when it comes to say some of Bridger's social views. So when I found like he and Jacob were doing a YouTube channel, I will admit like it will be interesting to see if they're going to be at one of their throats. But you know, because Jacob is very sound, you know, when it comes to like these issues. But I've been really pleasantly surprised by like how very good it is. And I'm very critical of, like, say, other LDS when it comes to the apologetics, because I believe like because we have the truth, you should be a higher bar of scrutiny than the critics. But no, everyone subscribe and check out the videos. I've liked every video that's been produced so far, but you know, and there's a lot of crap when it comes to say LDS media out there. So you know, it's one of the reasons why I will not appear on a certain YouTube channel anymore that I once appeared on, and to discuss Mariology, and I'm not going to name names, but that's why. By the way, speaking of apologetics, I just got your message, Sarah. I'm not going to share it here, but yeah. But this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I will be hosting a dialogue between Alan Hansen and Brad Whitbeck. It will be on the Saudi Arabian gold plates that have been like making a splash.
I'm excited for that.
So
Thank you.
Alan, who is an absolute expert when it comes to say Semitic languages and stuff like that, he'll be having a dialogue with Brad, who I think he's undecided about them. So it will be pretty good because, frankly, if you ask me, excuse the language, the plates are bullshit and they're forgeries. And But Brad, who I'm also friends with, I'm actually friends with both of them. He just wants to interact with Alan as he like to say your authenticity or lack thereof and so forth. So it will be a very good, friendly conversation between like two people I consider very good friends. Like I even work with Brad here at BH Work. So 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we'll be discussing say the fake Saudi Arabian gold plates. So
Awesome.
it will be like very good because I think LDS are who I believe like those who are being promoting it like on social media. I do believe that they are honest actors. But the problem though is like you're sharing bogus material and you're doing the Book of Mormon and the church a disservice by flaunting as authentic these BS plates. Because there's very good evidence. By the way, check out Scripture Central and Evidence Central, where like Neil and others have done an excellent job on actual gold plates and other metal plates, and also Jerry Grover on this as well. And John Trenton's book, The Book of Mormon and Other Hidden Books. There are like very good examples in antiquity of writing on metal plates, including gold plates. But this will depreciate, like, say, the value of this and will kind of show, like, say, to non-LDS audience, even those who are like genuine seekers of truth, LDS are focusing and using like bogus stuff here, and that's going to be like, that's detrimental to Book of Mormon scholarship and apologetics and stuff like that. So, quit.
Yeah, well, that's one of the big problems with the Heartlanders is they keep pushing those stupid Michigan relics. Like those are fake. So it drives me nuts when people do that. Like put some critical thinking into it, have some common sense. Don't believe every single thing that you hear as soon as you hear it, just because it backs up what you want it to say.
Yeah, and I say this as someone who actually is dogmatic about like Book of Mormon historicity. In fact, it was up to me. One of the temple recommended questions would be, do you believe that there was a historical Nephi, historical Jesus? If anything, just make sure Graham McClellan would be excommunicated. But like, as someone who actually does firmly believe in Book of Mormon historicity, and it believes that there's very good evidence, Old and New World, for its historicity and authenticity, you don't have to rely on BS. You don't. And again, like I can understand like why people may have seen the place like, oh, cool, these are really cool looking and stuff like that. But my BS alarm went off like that. And that's not me saying like, I'm so smart. It's like, I've seen this kind of BS before. They're like the Jordanian lead plates, if you're familiar with that. And like the apologetic, like, well, of course they're modern frauds, but they're based on an authentic ore text or something like that. I mean, no. Say what you will about him, and you can say a lot. I think Dan McClellan's take on this and also the Jordanian lead plates to be pretty good. And I say this as someone who is very critical of Dan McClellan in many areas. But as I said, like 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, a dialogue between Brad Whitbeck and Alan Hansen, who is an absolute freaking genius, will take place on these plates and their significance. And I'm sure Brad will be asking like a number of questions, but if anyone wants like submit a question, I'll try to get to it at the end. The plan is introduction of both these guys. Maybe like they would take like say a few minutes to discuss what they are saying, but also what they're not saying. Like Alan is not saying the Book of Mormon is not historical. There's no such thing as gold plates being used in antiquity, but these are BS. And Brad, who's doesn't actually believe that these are necessarily true, like he's undecided to outline his questions and stuff like that. So like it'll be a very friendly to and fro. I'll just be moderating, although knowing both of these guys, I don't have to. Alan's lovely and Brad's K8, and so like enough said. But maybe at the end, if there's enough time, I'll ask any audience questions or questions of my own as well. But definitely be on the outlook for that. It should be very informative. Like Sarah, you actually interviewed Alan only a few weeks ago. That appeared on the Fair YouTube page. The guy's knowledge of Aramaic and Hebrew
is brilliant.
Yeah,
he is brilliant. Like he was just rattling stuff off to the top of his head. Like he had a stack of books, he didn't even crack them open. He was just going off just from his knowledge. Like he is awesome. And we could have talked for like another couple hours. Like I was so interested in everything he was saying. So I am really looking forward to this.
Yeah. Alan Hansen is an absolute genius. He, by the way, he appeared on my podcast over a year ago discussing these Messiah, son of Joseph traditions. So definitely check that out. He also appeared on the Myself and I podcast series discussing seer stones and other paraphernalia in antiquity with Sarah and only half of that interview is actually on so far. Like I believe you'll be dropping the full interview in the near future. So that's
Yeah, after the series is over, we're gonna drop all the full interviews for all of the people we interviewed. So
yeah, so that's gonna be awesome. But yeah, that'll be 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Wednesday. So everyone tune in for that. It'll be a fun discussion, and hopefully a very good
And-
corrective to the absolute BS that's out there.
unless I work from home, I will be late watching it, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
anyone wants to submit a
I'll be
question, I
tuning
will
in
try
as
to,
well.
ask. Sorry, sorry, Elix.
I just said I'll be watching that one too. I think that'll be great.
Yeah, and even if you miss it, it will be like it won't be like behind the members only paywall. It'll be like for public consumption. So you know,
Awesome.
because I do believe like we have to get the word out. Like, yes, these look cool, but they're I hate to say this, but they are forgeries. I mean, it would be so awesome if these were authentic, but no,
They're not. They're very
Unfortunately.
much not. Like
And
that what was it, the menorah from the arch thing, the symbol on the plates is like way too late to be authentic anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's some comments here. Jacob Mayberry, Alan is very no nonsense. He eviscerated Bill Reel's dumb argument on Alma in the Book of Mormon.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Bill Reel and Corbin, aka ORFM, have been claiming Alma is actually a man's name in 19th century America. But Alan, I did like some research like one morning before I started work and put on a blog post, but like Alan put on steroids, that some of these so-called male Almas in the 19th century, they actually have duplicate records. And in these duplicate records, you're actually married to a woman. So it seems like it's a clerical error. Just as there's turtles all the way down, if you will, there's clerical errors all the way down. And most of these figures, and not all of them, are actually biological females. Because these Almas are actually married to men. Sorry, I kind of screwed that one up.
Yeah.
It seems like these are women. And he totally eviscerated Bill Reel's argument because that idiot, and he's an idiot, Anthony Miller, was repeating it on the Tall Full Saints Facebook page. So Alan did stellar. Alan's brilliant when he comes to these topics. And
that was Bill Reel freaking out over Scripture Central, the Marvelous Work videos.
Yeah. Andrew says Bill Reel isn't exactly burning bright star though. That's true. And Ella Marie, is there a way I can get in touch with Travis about my friend Paul? If you type in Travis Anderson on Facebook, he has a Rick and Morty profile picture. If you drop him a private message, he might respond to you. So he
does get a lot of private messages though. Just be aware. It might take him a little while to get to you.
But yeah,
make sure
that would probably be the
which
best way.
Paul as well.
Yeah, so the odds are stacked against you, but that's probably the best way to go about
it. Is this Paul G that we're talking about, or a different
no, Paul Mickelson.
Okay.
A different Paul.
Good.
Like 3 of them that Travis has dealt with recently.
I know.
I probably gotta head out, but it was so nice. Thanks for having me.
Oh no, my pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
See you, Tyler.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay, now that he's gone, we can talk smack about him behind his back.
Oh, come on.
I'm just joking. But yeah, as I said, like that, I do look forward to it because Alan was initially approached like have a dialogue on a different YouTube page, but because this YouTube page has had like say Jonathan Neville and other people on recently, Alan does not want to be on the YouTube page has accused me and Sweet of being a racist and stuff like that. So I offered my services to host this dialogue, so it should be fun.
So would that happen to be Brad's other YouTube project?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I offered and Brad said he'd be down with it, so it should be
awesome.
Fun. And again, for those listening, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, but it will be available even if you miss it. But if you want to submit questions, I can't guarantee there'll be time to take your questions. But if you do, I'll try to find time to like maybe ask them near the end. But it will basically be like an open dialogue discussion between Alan, who believes correctly, in my view, that they're absolutely bogus and irredeemable in terms of the worth vis-a-vis the Book of Mormon, and Brad, who does not believe that they're necessarily true, but like he seems to be undecided. And I think like he'll be representing, let's say, the typical LDS person. I mean, not in a good way, but as a smart guy who
Yes.
is unsure and has questions, and I think that would be very good. So people will need to size up, not just like these, but like also the fraudulent artifact market out there as well, because these are basically a dime a dozen on the market. That's why, like, say, many of these discoveries in biblical studies, even those that are now authenticated, like the Seal of Mulek, if you're familiar with that one, took a very long time to be authenticated because there's so much fraudulent crap out there. And sometimes it's so good, actually fools the experts. There's like entire articles and books on these, the history of these kind of fraudulent documents and their significance.
These are just modern day Kinderhook plates.
Yeah.
Or Hoffman forgeries that literally did fool experts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like expecting some of these Heartlanders to appeal, like, say, the Voree plates sometime. For those who don't know, they're actually the artifacts, quote unquote, James Strand discovered. Let's see.
Those did disappear out of the museum like 120 years ago. So
Josiah says, I'm convinced that Travis Anderson is the LDS version of Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although he's not as foul-mouthed, but yeah, he's a very smart guy. You have to give Travis.
He can be that foul-mouthed.
He can be. But like Travis has like a couple advantages over the next person. First of all, he's well read as someone who's not a theologian or something like that. Also, because of his background in law, he knows how to argue and he knows how to think on his feet very well. And if
he knows how to
ask
questions.
Debate, yeah. And when it comes to being a good debater, you can be a very, very smart person, but be a crap debater. But Travis has above average intelligence. I think we can all agree. Even his critics would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Also, because of his background, he knows how to think on his feet. He knows how to break down arguments, and he knows how to like go for the jugular in terms of, say, process, because of his legal training. So he's very good when it comes to that type of thing. Because being a good debater and mortician is an art. Very few people are born with it. You have to like be skilled at it, just like public.
Yeah, I am not a debater.
Yeah.
I've been in a few debates, but I wouldn't consider myself, great.
But when it comes to public speaking and stuff like that, you have to like have the experience, and like you can't like read a book on its own and know how to debate or something like that. It's a skill that's honed,
Yeah, you have to practice. You have to put an effort. You have to do it.
Yeah, but no, Travis is very good. So like I'm glad, as Mackay would say to Spock, I'm glad you're on our side. Let's see. Any other comments? Josiah says, I can't prove it, but no one has ever seen Travis and Rick Sanchez in the same room. That's true. And generic koala, Kinderhook plates for real, but we aren't ready for that yet.
Well,
they're real in a sense, like they exist.
But you should go back and read through the Saints Herald, because you're going to find out some real interesting facts about those. Just saying.
The Voree plates? Yeah, I agree. Yeah. James,
the phosphorus stories crack me up. So, like, have you? You've read them, I'm sure, but how they have the guy like in the white robe, like holding phosphorus, so he's glowing. It looks like an angel and stuff. Like, come on.
I mean, like, what people say incorrectly about Joseph Smith, you can say correctly about Strang. I mean, yeah. I can understand the confusion when Joseph died, because there's no hard or fast way to come up with his successor. There's no question there. I understand like why some people made, in my view, the mistaken assumption it may have been someone else. I get that. I think God will be merciful on them to that point where it wasn't hard or fast. With that being said, to follow that obvious fraud artist, James Strang, you either have to be mentally retarded or just I'm sorry, there's no, or spiritually deluded. He is such an obvious damn fraud.
Yeah.
I know, like I don't know how to take like John Hajicek. Like, he seems like a fairly intelligent person, and then he buys into that. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, David Whitmer, Sidney Rigdon, Joseph Smith, a descendant of Joseph Smith. I think you're wrong, but like, again, because there's no it was a confusing time. I get it. You know, I think God, not that you're going to be get off scot-free, but I think God will be a bit more merciful than you are than someone today who know the.
Oh, sure.
With
Sure.
that being said, you are friggin' bound to hell if you believe consciously that absolute fraud James Strang, even from day one. The letter he has is such an obvious BS forgery. Hoffman would laugh at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You know,
I know.
It makes the Kinderhook case look convincing. And also, even if it's authentic, it does not mean he's successor. It means at most he would have held a position of ecclesiastical import, the equivalent of stake present. That does not mean you're a damn successor of Joseph Smith. You obvious fraud artist, you do not think this true. Burn in hell.
Yeah. Well, and the letter was printed and Joseph always wrote in cursive, and like the signature does not match Joseph's at all, like even remotely.
No.
So I mean,
It's like a little kid writing a note to the teacher saying like, excuse my son for not doing the homework. He was sick, and it was obviously like in crayon and like, it's like you expect me to believe this absolute BS. I'm
I know.
retarded.
I know.
But no. James Strang was an obvious fraud, and the Strangite movement is a joke.
Yeah.
But let's see. Josiah says the last 116 pages of the Book of Mormon are Nephi's meme stash. Someone asked Dan Bradley if there's like any evidence that there's memes on the plates, or that might just give him ideas. I don't know. That's a good thing.
He did say that there were like symbols and things on the cover plate. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
If there's actually cats on it, like they're the first internet memes in brass plate form. And here's the thing, like it's not exactly like a stretch, but like Egyptian provenance and cats being deities, making cats into meme forms to deconstruct the Egyptian cat cult. It's possible.
I think that's.
I can has
a
kosher
stretch.
cheeseburger.
I think that's a stretch.
Yeah, and Jacob says Reformed Egyptian was really memes. Next time I talk to Jerry Grover, I'll ask him if there's any truth to memes in Reformed Egyptian, or maybe on the Anton transcript. Maybe that's like the real decipher to interpret like the Anton transcript. Yeah, these are all memes. These are like the bad luck Harold meme. The first line and the second line is like cheeseburger cat meme. It's not about chronologies at all, Jerry. And for those who don't know, we're talking about Jerry Grover's interesting work on the Anton transcript. Might as well mention this because, like, only Facebook group we belong to, they were asking like what we thought about Jerry Grover's work. So if you, Felix, are you familiar with Jerry Grover?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, well, Sarah, I'll let you give your thoughts on Jerry's work, but and I'll wet my whistle. I'll give you my answer.
Okay. His geology book is awesome. His Ziff book is pretty good. I have not read that in a very long time, but I remember thinking that I liked it. I think there are some interesting things in his translation. I like some avenues to explore. I don't think it's probably as accurate as he thinks it is. That's about it.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like Jerry is actually a friend. I actually like the guy. In fact, he spent like 2 or 3 hours talking with Josh in the office like last week.
I've never met him, but he seems perfectly lovely.
Oh yeah, he's a nice guy. Bit of a boomer because he's 60s, but like apart from that, nice guy. His work on geology in the Book of Mormon, where he situates like the earthquake volcano in Mesoamerica at more or less the right time as the Book of Mormon, it's excellent. First of all, it's a death knell to any non-Mesoamerican model, but it's also a great vindication of the old world geography of the Book of Mormon. Like, we already had these convergences, but now we actually have this important event, like the Great Destruction, that you can't exactly claim, like, well, maybe like it was lost to records. Like, we actually have good geological evidence. And he goes through, like, it's an excellent book, but it's a bit of a trudge because he kind of goes through like all the scientific data, the geological data. It's not easy reading, but it is by a mile his best work. And it's excellent. Everyone should read it if you're serious about New World Geography in the Book of Mormon, etc.
Mm-hmm.
His most recent book is actually on the chronology and calendars in the Book of Mormon.
I haven't read that one yet.
It's really good. It's very
might need to get that one.
But it's on these all these books are on his website for free. You can download them. But it's excellent. He kind of discusses all the chronological issues like the birth of Christ, the events like this new star. He kind of discusses that in the old and new world, host of other things as well. He also refutes the absolute BS argument, about Zedekiah, his reign, the destruction of Jerusalem, and a bunch of other things like come up on Reddit every so often. It's great. And also like a number of these other books are good, like the Ziph and Gold. Ziph one is really good, especially like his composition of the Book of Mormon and its weights, which kind of has a very strong overlap with Neil Rapley's studies about the topic as well. So a lot of his stuff is really good. He's kind of more well known now for like most recently because of his Anton transcript book. And I will say this in his favor. By a mile, it's the best study about the characters document, bar none. There's been some attempts, but some of them are really frankly piss poor. But Jerry's good. He kind of shows that what we're dealing with when it comes to the characters document is not deformed Egyptian or Masonic ciphers a la Vogel and other things. There is like some kind of ancient linguistic logic going on here. And some of these characters fit Egyptian very well. And that's as far as I'm willing to take it. Perhaps some of his translation in it is good, but I'd be very skeptical that he has deciphered and been able to translate it in total. I'm very skeptical about that. I know some people have dismissed it, but like I would love, like, say, even if they dismiss it 100% and say it's bollocks, for someone who's actually trained in the relevant linguistics, who actually will take his work seriously to interact with it. Like, but until then, like, I'd be hesitant to like use it, but it's still an interesting study. If anything, just to refute the long-standing claim, like the characters, like just modified in English, like the Tanners and others have argued, or as Vogel has kind of been open to, like it's based on Masonic ciphers or some other stuff like that.
I will say, what I've heard from people who've talked to actual linguists, the early chapters are pretty solid. It's just later in the book when you start taking it a little farther than the evidence shows is where it gets kind of iffy. But the earlier chapters are apparently pretty solid work.
Yeah, the opening chapters are really good. But again, I don't know Egyptian, so like just from my perspective, it's good. He shows like these are not random scribblings, so forth. And that's as far as I'm going to take it for me. I would love like if there's like a good interaction with it, but it seems to be like poo-pooed or like dismissed by people. It's like maybe you're right, but like, can you interact with it? But yeah, but overall, like I did like Jerry's stuff. Again, his theology book and his chronology book and some of his other stuff is good. I do like some of his Sumerian etymologies, but like again, I don't know Sumerian. So let's see. Josiah says Layman and Lemuel were the original Jack memes. True. And Jacob, but I thought the Tanners already translated the characters document. Actually, on this, like in my library here, or back home, I do actually have a booklet. I think the Tanners will forever wish they never produced, where they actually argue that the Hoffman forgery, is actually authentic, and they kind of spent some time going through it.
Yeah, they do like to brag that they discovered the Hoffman forgeries before anyone else, even though it is pretty clear that President Oakes and President Hinckley were like, really though? But I mean, they couldn't really argue because experts, and including in the church history department, were saying, no, these are authentic. And like all across the country.
And also the Tanners have this kind of a bookish I found a copy a few months ago, but like mysteriously it's out of print, where they actually argue, both of them, that the Joseph Smith III lesson was authentic and a death blow to LDS claims. Womp womp.
Yeah. The Tanners were some special people. I guess Sandra's still alive, but
she's retired.
She
just waiting for like her to go to hell. But yeah, to join her husband, who's been burning there for like about 18 years now.
I will just say I hope he and Robert Rittner had quite a shock when they got to the other side.
Well, at least they have Michael Quinn and others to have company.
This is true.
Okay, we're kind of going on for like an hour and a half. So like, if there's any comments or questions in the chat, now submit them, but we might just end early or in a few minutes. We've been on for like an hour and a half.
Thanks for having me.
No, my
Yeah, we
pleasure.
can
So,
go
like,
dogpile on
by the way,
offices.
Sarah, because you kind of do the whole me, myself, and I, any forthcoming videos that will be dropping, or any other projects for people to look out for that series?
Yeah, we have 2 more episodes of the podcast coming out. They come out every other week, so not this week, but next week. There will be one with interviews with Garrett Jerkmott and Mark Ashurst McGee, and possibly Don Bradley, because he has promised to come on, and we just have not been able to fit him in. So hopefully, I will talk to him in the office on Monday, and we'll get nailed down and do an interview.
Great.
And then we have to like edit it down and cram it in there somehow. But it's already going to be very long because Mark and I talked for like 2 hours, and Garrett and I talked for an hour, and so all of that will not go into the podcast. Obviously, we will trim it down to it. We will release them in full later. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And then 2 weeks after that, there will be the last episode of that little mini series. We are taking suggestions for what topics you guys would like us to see us cover next. So if anybody does have any suggestions, please do. And for the missionary group, I will get those up tonight, maybe. So you can watch the first 4 episodes at least.
Yeah. Joseph says the Scotland Temple needs full-time bagpiper. That's true.
Absolutely. And kilts should be mandatory. If you can get a white kilt, do it.
Maybe it's like the church, like kind of like being a culture, appropriating different cultures in terms of the full-fledged temple clothing, like bagpiper
Absolutely.
look, and stuff like that. That'll be absolutely based if we're to do it.
That would be so fun. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's kind of a joke. Bagpipe. Yeah, there's a bagpipe joke, but like we never think of bagpipes. Has anyone ever watched the movie So I Married an Axe Murderer?
An Axe Murderer. I love that movie. Yes.
Yes.
Bagpiper down, bagpiper down.
Have you ever been to that pub in Salt Lake called Piper Down? You should go. They've got little decorations from the movie and stuff, and like little quotes all over the menu and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. But yeah, for those who don't know, it's an excellent movie. With Mike Myers. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, especially with the conspiracy theorist father. That's hilarious. Like he's ratting about the criminal.
We always joke about how he's making fun of his son, and he's like, his monstrous head. We always joke about that in my family.
Have you seen that movie, Alex?
Yeah, the Mike Myers movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and everyone in the channel, you definitely have to watch So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yes.
It's like an orange and a toothpick is Randy Anton. That's it. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It
could be its own planetoid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Well, we kind of all known for like an hour and a half, but like this is like TLDR conference is awesome. Scotland gets a temple, so maybe Ireland someday. We can hope.
I'm not holding my breath.
Oh, you can try, but but no, yeah, very good conference, and like will be interesting. Like say once the transcripts are made available to reread them, but they should be fun. So, and of course,
I definitely got some ideas for my fair conference presentation because.
Oh yeah, and maybe like, do you want to like say because I think the tickets are available if you kind of an early bird special. So maybe like if you were like say, just like discuss like what's new when it comes to the fair conference, what's the cost,
sure.
blah blah blah.
Sure. Early bird special tickets are $90. It is for 2 days. Full price tickets will be $130. So I would hop on the early bird if at all possible. It's going to be August 8th and 9th in downtown Salt Lake, which is going to be rough. So I am going to get a hotel because I do not want to navigate morning rush hour downtown traffic in the middle of the work week. All I know for sure, Jennifer Roach is speaking. I'm speaking. Dan Peterson is speaking. Legina is speaking. Skylar Sorensen may be speaking. I heard that. Sadly, Ben Spackman, there was a miscommunication. He was left off the list. He will not be speaking unless somebody backs out. So fingers crossed somebody backs out. That is all I really know for sure.
But no, it should be good. I'm really looking forward to like Lejean's talk on Brigham Young and the difference between his personality in the Pittman shorthand and the later journal discourses. So that
absolutely. that'll be fascinating. He gets a bad rap because of the JOD badly. And Dan Peterson is going to be talking about the accusations that Brigham Young and John Taylor murdered Joseph Smith. So that'll be very entertaining.
You heard it here, people. Sarah Allen, John Taylor, and Brigham Young murdered Joseph Smith.
I did not say
Clip that.
that.
Everyone, please clip that and share it. Share it very wide. Send it to Jacques Welch for some reason.
Get me fired.
Don't worry, this will be behind a members only paywall. You'll be safe now. But no, joking aside, that's an absolute BS theory. But like, it's popular in like some nut job circles. So, like, it'd be interesting to see Dan if what he adds to it.
Yeah, it should be very entertaining. Jennifer is going to be talking about her latest research, probably a rehash of what she's doing at MHA next month or in June.
June. Yeah.
June. Yeah, and I will be talking about immunizing yourself against the faith crisis. I will maybe show in a clip of The Princess Bride, if they'll allow it.
No, yeah, it should be interesting. I know that the tickets are available now. I got the early bird special, like $89 for like the 2 days. So that should be good.
Yeah. Did you pay for this already?
Yeah, but I'll be reimbursed by my boss for it. So
okay. I was gonna say if you had hit up Delana, she would have given you a friends and family code.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll be reimbursed, so it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, tickets are available. They have not released the full lineup because one of the board members really wants to try and build suspense instead of telling people what they're paying for. Sorry. We have all been on her case about that. She will not bend. So I have no idea who else is speaking. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, that should be like and by the way, like a Mormon History Association June 3rd to the 16th in Kirtland. So I'll be there. Smook will be there. His wife will be there. So it'll be fun. Josh and Kim Chocolates will be there as well. So
I will not. So I am incredibly jealous of everybody who is going. I have not been to Kirtland yet, and with the temple news, I am super jealous.
As you should be. But if something would have happened to Jared, and you were offered to take his place, I'm just saying it's a big office. Accidents happen.
If you wanted to drop by and maybe shove Jared down the stairs, I will not argue with you. Although don't tell him I said that though, because he will make my life difficult at work.
Sends to Jared. But no, joking aside, fair conference in August. That should be it'll be interesting to see how.
Yeah. They are changing some things up this year. We're keeping an open mind, but if it doesn't go well, we'll switch back next year.
Cool. Josiah says Brigham Young did nothing wrong.
Well, in some cases, I think he did, but in other cases, I think he didn't. So.
Yeah. Ask Lejean Carew that question.
Lejean is awesome. You should get her on your podcast and just talk to her for ages. She is so
I would love to, but like she is a very, very shy, nervous person.
I know.
But no, she's absolutely lovely. So
she's fantastic. I am so excited for her presentation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Because like she did a presentation last year on like some of the differences between the journal discourses and the different shorthand, Pittman shorthand. And there's pretty important differences. Like Brigham might just allude to something, and then it will be filled in, if you will, by Walsh. So But fortunately, like a lot of her stuff, the transcripts are actually on the church's website. You just type in Lejean Carew from the search engine on the catalog of the church, and you'll come across your papers.
If you just type in parallel column comparisons as well, that'll also bring them right up. And she is very cool. She also wrote a paper with Garrett Dirkmaat that goes through all of that. It is an excellent read. Garrett did say he got in trouble for helping her write it because some of the feedback he got was not great because people were freaking out because they hold the journal discourses in such high regard. Nobody at work, like church history department, was fully behind it, but he was like, people did not appreciate that article, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So
No, Gerd has done a lot of good stuff.
absolutely, he's wonderful.
Yeah, no. I kind of wish like he and the other guy kind of got to the point of these podcasts as well as like rambling every 20 or 30 minutes, but that's just me. Like apart from that, like he's done so much more than that.
I actually like the rambling because I think all of their little tangents are really interesting, but I am just a geek, so
Yeah. But okay, so there's no other comments. Thanks guys for joining us, and thanks for Tyler for joining previously as well. But yeah, as I said, like this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we will have a dialogue between Alan Hansen and Brad Whitbeck on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula Gold Plate. So as I said, it'll probably just be for the most part like Brad asking Alan questions about the provenance and so forth. Like, but if people want to submit questions, I can't guarantee we will have time to ask questions, but I will, if they have time, ask any questions that are submitted. But definitely be on the lookout for that. It'll be live streamed, but it will be like publicly available afterwards as well. Because might as well quash this because it's been making the rounds on YouTube and Facebook. So really glad like Alan and Brad have actually agreed to dialogue with one another on this important topic. So. But yeah, thanks for everyone who's watched, and thanks again, Sarah and Elix, for coming on. Really do appreciate it, and have a great week ahead.